still.
Yeah.
It'll take a bit.
Nice little headache off your plate.
Yeah, no kidding.
Okay, so I know Commissioner Cruz texted me, said that she's going to be tuning in through YouTube. So we'll give it one more minute and then we'll get started.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Got you loud and
Yes.
clear.
Nice.
Who are we waiting for? Do we want to get started?
No, we have everyone.
Okay.
All right, so we're going to start with the, do you guys want to start with the announcements? They're pretty self-explanatory. 3B, we're going to have members of staff do each presentation. Scroll down, Candace, past public audience to administrative. Do you guys want to go into the advisory board appointments?
I'm good.
Okay. We'll start off with 6A then, or I'm sorry, no, 6B. We need to go over that. That's going to be a discussion item. Canceling the January 6th meeting. Go back up, Candace. Yeah, right there. And we brought that up, just saying that we're still going to have some staff members out for vacation. And we wanted to know, do you guys want to cancel that meeting and push it to the last meeting in January? Do you want to reschedule it, or would you like to keep it?
Well, I like to skip it.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I'm good to consolidate it with the agenda at the end of January.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's fine. I mean, if anything comes up that's crazy that needs attention, then you can just let the mayor know and she can handle it. Call a special meeting if we need to. But if we don't have anything earth-shattering, then I just say we enjoy our holidays with our families, staff included, and reconvene at the middle of January.
Sound like a plan to me.
Awesome.
Shauna, do we need to keep this on the agenda if we got consensus on the review?
The only reason I was thinking we might want to keep it is because, one, it would allow for, sorry, my dog is being so annoying. It would allow for public comment, and it would also, I believe Adam has some people that are going to have to renotice, but that would be the only reason that we would need to leave it on there.
Okay. I understood. All right, so we'll go ahead and get started with the consent. This is going to be the facility use agreement between the City of Boynton Beach and Congress Middle School for 2025 holiday concert for December 17th, 2025. They're going to be using our amphitheater, and I want to see if there's an appetite from the commission. If there are fees, do you guys want to waive the fees, being that this is a school district event? We have a $1,500 charge for nonprofit, and we have a $2,500 charge for for-profit events. So
I would say we waive it.
yeah, I agree, Vice Mayor. Okay, 6B is going to be ratifying the city's application for fiscal year 2025 for Justice Programs Community-Based Violence Intervention and Prevention Initiative through the Bureau of Justice Assistance. Essentially what this is this providing us right around $350,000 in funding for overtime And also that's going to get a lot of our ballistics evidence and things from the police department back in time. But really what it's doing, it's essentially just a grant that's going to offset some of our already budgeted items. So, and we were fortunate enough to get that. So 6C is going to be authorizing the police department to apply for FDLE Protect Safe Neighborhoods Southern District Grant for funding cycle 2025-2026. If awarded, authorizing the mayor to accept the grant and execute all necessary documents and grant subject to approval by the city attorney. This is going to be a $200,000 grant for outfitting our mobile command center, meaning that if we have a significant event in the city, typically police departments have what's called a mobile command center. And per example would be a mass shooting, chemical spill, large scale event that you'd be having during a hurricane. And what this is going to do is provide $200,000 to offset the cost of placing technology in that mobile command center. So, and this is just approving us and giving the staff authorization to apply for it. All right, so these are just our accounts receivable and write-off processes. These are all our unpaid budgetary debts for ALS invoices and things of that nature that we need to do write-offs for. 6E is going to be an ILA between the city of Delray Beach and the city of Boynton Beach. Share the construction costs. This is going to be Gulfstream Boulevard, and it's essentially the border street of both Delray and Boynton Beach. Yeah, the Walmart over there. You also have the Dunkin' Donuts, and you have some neighbor. You have the FEC crossing, and it's that road is in badly need of repair. So 6F, I'll let Shauna take this one, along with 6G and looks like 6H. So the next three.
We just have some settlements coming up. One is a pre-litigation settlement. One is an actual litigated file that was settled, and one is a former employee workers' compensation settlement. If anyone wants the specifics surrounding those, as always, I'm available. I'd rather not go too deeply into them.
Okay. Moving on to 7A. So 7A and 7B, essentially what we found whenever we were looking at some ways to improve some of our benefit offerings to the employees is they didn't have control over their 457 deferred comp. And what deferred comp is, if an individual wants to create a separate investment plan besides a savings account or their pension, they can do a direct deduction from their pay, and it's then funded tax-free into a deferred comp plan. And what we notice is employees don't really have any sort of control over these plans. They're proprietary and they're just provided by Nationwide, and they come with enhanced fees. Essentially what A and B are going to do is it's going to allow ownership of these 457 plans to the actual employee if they want to manage them themselves, or if they want to go in and actually select the differing funds from themselves versus having it provided by Nationwide. And it's also at a reduced cost, so less fees, more ownership. So, which is never a bad thing. And this is at no cost to the city at all. This is all employee, but it does have to do with a contract with Nationwide. So we need to bring it before the commission. Okay. Moving on to 7C, I'll let Josh do 7C and 7D. Josh, you want to actually, 7, yeah, C, D, E, and F, Josh. Go ahead and take those.
All right, 7C is just a piggyback agreement for the purchase of sodium hypochlorite. This is for our water treatment for both plants. 7D, it's an award invitation to bid for the I-95 and Boynton Beach Boulevard interchange for the utility relocation project with Johnson & Davis. And what was the other one, Dan? You said 7 what?
E.
7E. So we have the utilities we currently operate and maintain the DES plant. It's a district energy service plant right next to Fire Station 1. We're looking for permission to surplus 2 of the large chillers. The plant was commissioned in 2020. Those 2 chillers have not been put in service, so they're basically mothballed. We're looking for permission to surplus those and sell those through the approved vendor and use that money to buy a redundant chiller. So we have 2 chillers operating the plant.
So I think what the commission's also going to want to know, Josh, is what, I guess, ballpark, being that those chillers were very expensive whenever we first had them installed, because we thought that they were going to service all of Town Square.
Yes.
What kind of ratio are we going to be able to likely recoup if the city does decide to deem those surplus and put them out for sale?
Unfortunately, not much, Dan. I received a rough estimate just before the call, and we're looking at close to 100,000.
How much did we spend on those?
Millions?
Millions. Unfortunately, they were designed specifically for our plant, and it's not a custom. It's not a. It's not a standard design. So they were designed basically for our plant, and there's not a lot of places that use them within South Florida. The person that we may sell to, if we get permission, they flew in from Texas to take a look at them.
So what would be the use for them? Since we're obviously not leveraging that, what would be the use for the purchaser?
They have a plant in Texas that they would use them for. There's a lot of hospitals and large facilities that have chiller plants that they use this type of equipment for.
Got it. Got it.
This is
Just
this is
another
Real
part
quick,
of.
Dan. Sorry,
Yeah.
sorry, real quick. So we're the parts that you're looking to surplus, they're parts that have never been used. We don't
How
imagine
many
having a
total,
need for them.
how many total chillers do we have over there, Josh? I can't remember, is it 3 or 4?
So there's 3 chillers. The 2 chillers that we're looking to surplus have never been put in service.
Correct.
The chiller that we have in service right now, it operates 24/7, and there is no redundant chiller. So if we don't install we have money in the budget for our CIP this year to install it, but
Right.
we'll save a pretty significant amount of money by selling both of those chillers, because we'll be able to put the redundant chiller in place of the location of one of the existing chillers.
Got it.
Again,
And
we're not-
so
I'm sorry, go ahead.
are we spending anything every year hanging on to those chillers and them not being used, or are they just sitting there?
They're just sitting
Like
there, but the
maintenance?
longer, yeah, there's no maintenance we're performing on them, because there's no refrigerant going through them. There's no water that's going through them. They're just basically mothballed. But the longer we wait,
Yeah.
the less.
The less value they are to
Exactly.
anyone.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Yeah. So they're aging without being used is basically what you're saying.
Pretty much. And like I said, if we sell these, the contractor's going to come in, they're going to do the MOT, the road closure, they're going to have cranes come in, they're going to do the disconnection for us. They're going to remove the chillers, and it's going to give us a location to place the redundant chiller, which is going to
And what's
save us close to. So that project, it's going to cost anywhere from $400,000 to $900,000. However, we did budget for that for this year, because
Right.
we have to have a redundant chiller.
Right.
Hold on. So it's gonna cost $400,000 to $900,000 to remove these?
No.
That's to purchase and install a redundant chiller. It's
Okay.
going to cost a lot less if we can remove one of those chillers and place the new chiller in its place.
Right. Because we don't have to outfit another area.
Yeah, and there's a concrete pad that they have to install.
Got it.
I gotta
Okay.
I gotta ask the question, and this is for my own knowledge. And correct me if I'm wrong. Like, I know there's a reason. we're
Mhm.
selling 2 chillers, but we're buying another chiller and we're calling it a redundant chiller.
Mhm.
Why can't the other 2 chillers be used as a redundant chiller?
They're both oversized.
Okay,
Yeah, they were both oversized. I guess they anticipated a lot more usage.
boy, did
So
they.
that's basically it. They're just oversized chillers. They're not suited for what we need. We're only supplying chilled water to City Hall, the fire station, and the cultural center.
Right, and so it's kind of like your home air. If you buy one too big or put one in too big, it's actually less efficient than.
Yeah, it
So
wouldn't
for us to
operate
utilize
for
it, it doesn't make sense.
exactly.
Okay, well,
And we've had engineers and train our contractor. We've had people weigh in on this to make sure that we're making the right decision.
yeah, okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hey, Dan, it's Keith. I just wanted to add 2 things to 7D as well, the Johnson Davis contract. I just wanted to highlight 2 things. I know last commission meeting, we did bring forth to commission the agreement with FDOT. The plan is that this should be reimbursable completely by FDOT. We brought to commission last meeting and increased that contract with the DOT.
Thought it was
For
4 million what we increased it to. Now I see it's
increased it to 4
2.3.
million. This is 2.3 for the contract for construction. The contract we have for design is $1 million. And then the contract that we're trying to sign with DOT is to reimburse us up to 4.3 million,
Okay.
which should cover the entire cost of construction and design. But I also do want to highlight that we were able to get Johnson Davis to bid this project. They were the low bidder at 2.1. The next low bidder after them was 3.5 million. We were able to get them to come after it for the fact that they're doing the stormwater drainage for the DOT. So we were able to get a significantly lower bid by 1.5 million by getting Johnson Davis to bid after this project.
Oh, great. That's all good news. Hey, do we have an ETA when that I-95 Boynton Beach Boulevard project is supposed to be complete?
100. So they're trying to
27, I
expedite
thought I
that
heard.
contract, but yeah, I'd say the mid to end of 2027.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully it's going to be nice. I know we sprung for the enhanced landscape.
Nice.
All right. Any other questions, guys?
Not right now.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Any questions with any of our piggybacks or additional RFPs? This is pretty much standard business that we do for 7G. We could open those up and let you guys see any of the additional piggybacks that we're doing for extensions. Keiko Landscaping does a lot of our parks and rec or parks maintenance around the city. Zalman is our magistrate, so.
Hey, Dan. It's Andrew. I just wanted to note the renewal for the landscaping. We do plan on doing a complete citywide solicitation for the landscaping. So this renewal is just a temporary thing while we do the RFP for that.
Are we going to do more than one? Because I
Yep.
know obviously.
One athletic field and one the rest of the city.
Okay, good. All right.
Yep.
Thank
2,
you.
as we should have.
So 8A, Adam, are you on? I know this is Feeding South Florida's extension for their additional warehouse over on Park Ridge.
I'll kick it to Kevin. He can handle the next 2.
All right.
Right. Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Commissioners. Kevin Fisher with the Planning and Zoning Division. So the first of the 2 public hearing items, as the city manager mentioned, is for Feeding South Florida. They're currently in the southern portion of Quantum Corporate Park is a Feeding South Florida warehouse, approximately 25,775 square feet. This addition will be on the parcel immediately to the south. The 2 parcels will be combined through unity of title, and there'll be internal circulation between the sites. And just note that the site plan does meet all of our land development code standards with respect to parking, design, landscaping, buffers, etc. And staff is recommending approval. And there are no questions on that one. For the next item, I'm going to back up a little before I talk about the specifics, because this is with respect to Live Local, which I know everyone on this call is quite familiar with that state statute, which in 2023 essentially preempted the ability to stop a residential project on any properties that are zoned commercial, industrial, or mixed use. And also those projects are not to be brought through the public hearing process. The state statute requires that those are to be administratively approved. In the two subsequent legislative sessions since Live Local was first approved and signed by the governor, there have been some changes. And in this prior legislative session, there was essentially an expansion of the breadth of Live Local by how they define what is a commercial, industrial, or mixed use zoned property. So the item that staff is bringing forward and recommending is to remove one principal use from our infill plan unit development. Now, in our land development regulations, this zoning classification is considered a residential district. However, because as a principal use, a yacht club, private marina is allowed, and with these changes to state statute, it states that any for-profit commercial type business pursuant for Live Local projects would be, applicable under that section of Florida statute. So by eliminating that one use, it would be strictly a residential zoning district, which would therefore, not allow future requests from developers to utilize Live Local. So basically, it's just trying to get ahead of potential future Live Local projects in this zoning classification. I will note there are not many IPUD vacant properties, but there are a few left within the city. I know that was a lot of words, but that's kind of the gist of the reasoning for this proposed code amendment.
Kevin, just for clarification, what you're saying is if the body were to move forward with this proposed ordinance, we would then, it would be a little bit, it would put a little bit more of a handcuff on Live Local or potential Live Local projects from happening?
That is exactly correct, Commissioner
Okay.
Kirk. So right now in our code, the IPUD is limited to a density of 20 units to the acre. If in the future someone wanted to use Live Local, they could go well in excess of the 20, because under Live Local, you can utilize the highest allowable density within the city. So you are correct. This would curtail that.
Awesome. Thank you.
So moving on to 10A. This is a first reading of an ordinance for the city of Boynton Beach adopting the city's 5-year capital improvement program. We should have already had this. This is some housekeeping that basically is memorializing our capital improvement program through 2026 to 2030. Is Kevin on? Ramsey?
I'm here, Dan. That was actually put together by Rick Hoffer and I believe engineering, this item here.
All right, if there's no.
It just shows can you hear me?
Fairly self-explanatory.
Yeah, it's required by our comprehensive plan to adopt our 5-year CIP via ordinance. So that's what this is.
We should have already had this. All right, so 10B, discussion regarding annexation status and next steps. I know there's quite a few questions out there about the annexation. I know I've had multiple meetings over the last few months, and we essentially have quite a few different components. And I know I'll let Amanda speak on this as far as like the actual dates and times and the technical details of it. But essentially, we got a lot of moving parts between the county, the city, Cobra, Palm Beach County Fire Rescue, and our utilities. And I
wanted to try to sorry to interject, Dan. you're hitting it right on the head with this is a multifaceted ordeal now, at least from my experience. Last year I had sent, I think you and Adam, an email prior to budget about looking at macro level opportunities to completely slash our taxes, where you would see a massive effect and impact for our residents. Not something that isn't really noted. So, as we've moved along with this annexation thing, I think there's been a lot of conversation, a lot of humming, a lot of buzzing about utilities, fire rescue, like you mentioned. So I was curious to see if we could incorporate those into the conversation, because we do have an opportunity to make that economic boom for our city if we are able to look at transitioning some of these assets. In addition to that, I think we have an opportunity to really serve our residents in a fashion to where we can dramatically decrease our millage rate, which would obviously have a correlated effect with investment from the private sector into the city. And so, I think those two things could go hand in hand. I know there's a lot of moving parts to this, but I think this is a conversation that we should have and spearhead, because I think we have a true opportunity to create an everlasting and transformative change for the city of Boynton Beach, not just 5 years, not just 10 years, but 25, 30, 50 years down the road. And so I really want to have that conversation, because I think we have a body that has foresight and has the ability to look at these legacy initiatives to where we can, dismantle the perception of Boynton being the last two city. So I want to incorporate those discussions into this discussion, if there's an appetite for that.
That's really been the objective from the very beginning. I agree with what you're saying, but that has been the motivation as far as I was concerned about even bringing up annexation, is looking long term and what is the best thing that we can do for our citizens and take care of those low hanging fruit right now. So Dan and Amanda and the rest of them have really been pushing this thing forward, and I'm still excited about it. So I want to hear what status is. So go ahead, Dan.
No, I was
Yeah,
going
I
to
mean-
turn it. Yeah, I was going to turn it over to Amanda. Or go ahead,
Okay,
Amy.
Amanda.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say, I didn't think we were having this conversation until after the first of the year, so I've been pushing everyone off,
Same.
telling people we weren't having this conversation until January, and I wasn't prepared to have this conversation on Tuesday. But I mean, if this is just like a quick status update, then that's one thing, but if we're having full-on discussions about options and in looking at big picture things, then I think I mean I'm just a little shocked that this is on the agenda for Tuesday, because it wasn't going to be a conversation until January. So I mean,
agree
that's
with
my
you,
thought. I mean,
Commissioner
I'm
Kelly.
happy to talk about it on a small scale, but I'm not in a position to go into the granular details of options of water utilities and fire rescue and annexation and all that, because this is something that we had discussed at length that was going to be in January. So that's my position. I'm happy to have a conversation about and get an update, Dan, based on your conversations with the county and the powers that be, if that's and what we're then what the next conversation is going to be. But I'm not that's my understanding. I'm a little shocked that this is on the agenda for Tuesday. So
And I'm not trying to make more work here, but I think because it has so many different components to it, I mean, this may be a workshop or a special meeting, because it's very detailed when it
I
comes down
actually
to all
agree.
three
I
of those
actually agree with
factors.
you, Mayor. I actually agree
Yep.
with what you're saying, and I think was my idea, and that was going to be part of the thing that I was going to bring up. And for January, I think we need to schedule a workshop around this, because I don't think an item like this, with all the moving parts that's contained in it, that we need to make this part of a normal commission meeting, because this is such a dynamic thing that has, and it's like Commissioner Turkin said, it's so transformative for the city that we need to make sure that we're analyzing all the pros and cons, and from a board perspective that we get things correct. And I think that we just got a draft presentation from the city today, or from the county today, and I want to say it's due to go forward in December. So I think probably scheduling a workshop in January, maybe mid-January, something like that, that we can all sit down and kind of with legal and Amanda and the rest of staff and kind of look at all what the options are and get a direction on what the overall board's vision for this would be.
So what does everyone think about maybe just removing 10B from this meeting, and then we schedule that workshop?
Mm-hmm.
And,
Yeah.
like after Tallahassee days, I'm assuming would probably be a good time, because I think Tallahassee days like the early mid-January.
The 13th.
The only thing that I'd add to the conversation, Dan and Commission, is that when we brought the Bamboo Lane and Palmyra annexation applications, we tabled those items to, I believe, in January. So they will be coming back at a future, in the meeting in January, those two annexation items. So the idea was to provide a brief update on our annexation efforts, the first meeting in December.
Okay. Is there a way that you guys?
That's an
can maybe get
ILA
this-
though. It's completely separate from this. That's going to be an ILA agreement with the county. It has nothing to do with our water services agreements. So
Right.
that's completely separate.
Maybe you guys can just give us a quick update individually if there's appetite for that. And then, because Bamboo Lane, I know that's in Palmyra, those are a little bit different from, I think, like the macro lens that I'm looking through at least. And so I don't know if
Right.
the body is okay with having staff reach out to them with the update, or maybe just keeping this on the agenda, having it strictly around Bamboo Lane and Palmyra. I'm okay with either or.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. Because we do have that January date for those two parcels, to get an update from staff just as it pertains to those. But I didn't want to go into the whole big picture of what we're looking at or what the discussions are, because there hasn't been anything like solid. So I think we need more.
All right.
Yeah, it's like before the workshop, there's a lot of due diligence that needs to be done in education on any options and opportunities that may benefit, or the negatives.
Correct.
Amanda, where are we at with the ILA with the county on Bamboo Lane?
Yeah, so from Bamboo Lane, Stacy actually drafted a first draft of the ILA to transition Bamboo Lane from dealing with the water service agreements to basically just an ILA agreement between the city and the county. That's being reviewed by the county, I believe, currently. So we're waiting to hear back from them to see when we can move forward with that. The process with that would be, we would actually approve that item first, the ILA first, and then we send it to the county, and then they approve it, and the annexation would be final after that approval.
Okay, great.
Would you guys like us to retitle B, or do you want us to pull it completely and just come back at a workshop in January?
I
I'm
thought we
okay with
needed to
pulling.
have, I thought we needed to have a partial discussion though. Isn't that what Adam just said?
With the ILA, yeah.
Okay.
So
Whatever.
when we did the first reading of those two items, we approved them. And when we went to do the second reading, we tabled them until January. And we did say we were going to bring an update in December. And that update was actually specifically to those two items. We can talk about more or less, or whatever the commission's comfortable with. It sounds like you would prefer that the update is solely around the items that you will be hearing in January.
Correct.
Yes,
That's my desire. Yes.
mine too.
Okay.
Or
I
if this
agree.
update was sufficient, I mean, we could potentially even just remove it.
Yeah, I mean, you guys could update us now.
I'm okay with that too.
Yeah, and if
Yeah.
anyone has
That was
questions, they can reach
essentially the
out.
update.
All right,
Yeah.
perfect.
So just remove it.
Yeah,
Okay.
so
Yeah, there
I'll,
has been no real movement with Palmera just yet, just because Palmera is more tied to some of the bigger conversations. But it looks like we are finding resolution around bamboo through this different process.
Okay.
everyone's good with removing it?
Yep.
Fine.
All right,
Yes.
so we're gonna remove 10B. So moving on to 10C. This is a discussion Commissioner Turkin brought up about the citywide lighting audit and evaluation. We've got some more information. I'll let Kevin Ramsey take it. Kevin Fisher, are you also involved in this as well?
I know I have not had any direct involvement with this item.
Okay.
Dan,
Kevin,
Dan, so William Leidy, the city engineer and division director of engineering, was heading up this discussion and working with
Okay.
Kevin.
yes.
Okay. All right. I know it was two. I just couldn't remember the other person. Kevin, it's all yours, buddy.
Yeah, Will's taking over this one. I had all my data for him, and I think he was assigned this project. So Bill Lee will be.
Is
the lead
Will
this
on?
one. Don't know.
Real quick, Dan, Amy Kemp from FBL reached out to me. I guess she was reviewing our agenda, and she was offering some assistance about this. So maybe I don't think I have Will in my email thread, but if we can just get him in touch with Amy Kemp, she's willing to work with us as we move
Great.
forward with this. I think she's asking for like a study. But I would love to get that collaboration early on.
Okay. I can do that. I can text Amy or either email her and see if we can collab with Will and her. And maybe they I'm sure there's a plethora of different things FP&L can offer. So
Yeah, I think they're just looking for a study, is what it sounds like. And then there's, I guess, an abundance of opportunities.
yeah, no, I agree. I had Kevin and Charles and everyone like go out there and do a complete audit of federal highway as far as some of those out street lights that Vice Mayor Hay brought up about a month ago. And they sent all that information over to the FPL. So we're still waiting to I guess there was some issues as far as FPL wants us to provide longitude and latitude for specific street lights that are out. And there's kind of a disconnect as far as the locations and things, how we got to fix some stuff on the staff end and also on FP&L so we can get on the same page and get some of that stuff prepared. That was, I want to say last week, the last I got an update on it.
On that note, it's somewhat relative. So where I see those opportunities for lighting, specifically like east of Seacrest, really throughout all of Forest Park, but like east of Seacrest, I think that's southeast 4th Avenue, the one that runs north and south, along that industrial zone there, just before the tracks. Those roads are pretty bent out of shape. I don't know if that's in our capital plan anytime soon, but they look horrible. And I don't know if there's some type of like resurfacing we could do there, because they don't look too damaged. I'm not an engineer, but they're very dirty. They're very like, you can tell they've been like filled in certain areas, and it looks very splotchy. And maybe this isn't something we do right now, but as our downtown grows, I think it's important for us to brand our downtown with what's adjacent to it, and lighting and clean streets are a part of that, in my opinion. And so, when people are driving around, they're looking to move. I mentioned this before, they're going to look at what those neighborhoods look like just outside downtown. And I think, it's, I think it's an opportunity where, again, we should include that into our plan if it's not, because this is our downtown area, right? And so they're city roads, and I want to make sure that we're doing everything we can to really embody, our beautification brand and change into that brand, that this body's kind of looked at over the last year or so.
Totally agree.
Yep, me too.
Okay, if there's no other question, we'll move on to 10D. And this is going back to whether what we want to see as far as a mail-in, which is going to be significantly more expensive than a traditional election, or whether or not we want to push it because of participation with the residents, being that both Mac McCray, which is he is now the commissioner-elect that's coming in March to succeed current Vice Mayor Woodrow Hay for District 2. He was also elected today, along with Commissioner Kelly. We officially do not have a re-election or an election process for March. So the board's direction was they wanted additional discussion to essentially see whether they want to do a mail-in, if they want to hold it, or if they want to push it. So that's what D is.
Did we get the cost?
Yeah.
Is Candace
Well,
on?
Yes,
the
it's
one
attached.
thing,
The cost is attached. It would be an estimate about a $480,000, something like that. If we were to do a mail-in ballot election, as opposed to when we do a regular election, even if we were opening all of the precincts, we most likely wouldn't have any kind of runoff. So I would estimate around like $80,000 to do a regular election.
I don't,
100 at the most, but it would be like $80,000 if we're opening up all of the polling locations.
Just for clarification, at least it's 480,000 if we were to do a mail-in election. How is,
Yes.
do those ballots, are they mailed to every voter by default? Or what is the
Yes.
formula?
yep,
Okay.
yeah, yes.
So
And the
what
thing is,
happened?
if I can
Go ahead.
jump in here for a second, the percentage of people that will return those is going to be so tiny to spend almost $500,000.
Okay.
They are
Yeah.
going to throw them
And
in the
I
trash.
certainly agree
And
with that.
And even though people do not know this, you can return a ballot without postage. It is so hard to get that through the constituent base. And I've done over 100 campaigns in my former life. And it's just such a mass scale to not, and then on top of it, the city is not going to spend taxpayer dollars to educate. So you really want, in my opinion, is to do a regular election, because those are the people that care, they pay attention. The rest of the people are just going to throw that thing in the trash.
Yeah, that was,
Yeah.
so my next question was, if it's $80,000 to do it in person, right? I think there's an opportunity where we can, and let me make sure I frame this correctly. I think there's a way where the city can educate and market that we're actually having one and keep it impartial and unbiased, right?
Mhm.
I think if we spend some funding on marketing and advertising, I think we could probably get similar turnout as like what the mayor said, and it's gonna be very low turnout is because people probably just throw them away, I guess. I don't know what everyone thinks of that, but I think that's an opportunity to try to promote turnout and also, accomplish, um, getting these on the ballot while not breaking the bank.
Right.
What does everyone think about that?
I think it's something that the city should be doing in a non swaying way, right? You know that this is an election, this is what's going on. If you want your ballot, go to pbcelections.org. Like there's so much that we can message to notify
Yeah.
people. You know, I think in a high turnout of returns would be 6,000. I think in this case, because there's no candidates, we're looking maybe 4,000 turned if we're lucky.
Yeah.
You know, the turnout.
Hmm.
But nonetheless, it's still the people that actually pay attention to what's going on.
Right.
Yeah, and I think education too, right? Like I think the city can work, the city can identify avenues to message this to our residents in a sense where we're just driving turnout, right? It's impartial, unbiased, but I think we spend some money marketing, whether that's, you know, mailing, text messaging, whatever kind of e-communications we can utilize to drive people out. Obviously, I imagine all of us as electeds are going to go to our constituency and inform them of these, you know, potential ballot referendums. But I think, you know, with a lot of people coming back down for season, I think there's definitely an opportunity that the city should take advantage of for educational purposes, that we are doing this and not just leaving it to same day word of mouth.
And it also would have been a waste of doing our charter review work
Correct.
for that board to be doing that work for us to pass on by an election cycle.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think we'll have more of a turnout than we would have if it was just a District 2 and a District 4. You know, I mean, obviously we would open it up to all of them for the referendums, but we don't usually, for those two districts, we don't have good turnout. So I think if we can push it forward and really encourage people and us too, you know, I mean, we can all encourage and
Let's get
post
moving
it
on the
and
digital
share it.
signs in every district, you know, like
Yeah.
your district, Amy, you know, like we can get that up and moving.
Yeah.
And we
I
start
need to,
messaging this
right.
in January, because they can request their vote by mail.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they don't even know, a lot of people don't even know they need to request it, right?
Yeah.
We're still educating voters on that. So,
Oh, yeah. I think it's better. It's definitely better than it was when I ran the last time because that's when it first refreshed. I think more people are getting their mail-ins than before. But yeah, I mean, it's always just an education.
yeah, I
I
had
can always get the
2,500.
deadline. I can always get the deadlines for those things for the registration
Yeah.
to Sheila and have her
Right.
so that we can notice it or put it out there.
Yeah, I mean, the
Yeah.
supervisor elections usually post the heck out of it on social media when it's coming close to the deadlines too, because there's other stuff going on. So there's other municipalities that have elections too. So the supervisor of elections is always pushing those deadlines out too. So we just need to make sure we're doing the same thing.
Is everyone okay with us like marketing this?
I mean, I don't think we need to do anything over and above what our social media platforms already do or what we can do in-house. I don't think we need to spend a ton
Well,
of money doing
it'll
it,
be in
but
my newsletter for December that
right.
you, Commissioner, are now reelected and stuff. And then that will be in there, and then it'll be there in January, February, and March. You know, my database is over 14,000. So at
Right.
least I know that, like, the thing about elections are you have to beat it in people's head, right? That it's
Right.
coming, because they just
Right.
forget it, you know?
They
So
do. No, they do. They just
it's a
forget.
buildup,
Yeah,
right? You know,
absolutely.
and then the 10 days before, like, our social media needs to be, you know, every day there needs to be a post. It's the get out the vote week, right? And so
Right.
it's very important that we just maintain that this is a nonpartisan race. Everyone can vote.
Right.
There's so much that can be educated on this without giving our opinion on how we feel about these.
Right.
That's not our place, and that's not the city's position.
Right. Yep, I agree.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I think just posting it on Facebook every now and then is not going to suffice. So, I mean, we have time. And
Yeah.
I think the mayor hit it right on the head. That 10-day 2-week period prior is when people are gonna really start paying attention.
And if anything, there might be that weekend before that there are just some other additional signs, election Tuesday, blah, 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 like you would in any get out the vote. I don't know where that falls in, but might be something to consider.
Shauna, have we identified what that ballot language is gonna look like?
Yeah, it's actually already in the ordinance. The
Okay.
ballot language in each ordinance, when you approve the ordinances, you approve the ballot language.
Okay.
Would you like me to send those back out?
Yeah, if you can.
Okay, because if there's any tweaks, we need to do it at this meeting.
Okay, that'd be great. So we do have an opportunity to do tweaks if needed.
Well, you'd have to reopen the item. But we noticed
Okay.
it that way just in case you did, but yes.
Yeah, if you could send them to me, that'd be great.
Okay, no problem.
Thank
Me
you.
too.
Okay, I'll just send them to everybody. Thank you.
All right. So last one is essentially just mirroring what the state already allows. And basically there's 2 positions within the city. And it kind of came about from twofold. One is you had police chiefs that typically come from other municipalities. And when they come, they're not really interested in entering into a mandated pension. They would much rather just have their pension after they've already retired, come, do their time, however long that may be, and be able to opt out of the pension or opt into the pension. And there's only 2 positions within the city that would be permissible according to state statute. One is going to be the fire chief, and the other one's going to be the police chief. Now, the one caveat that I would suggest that we put within the ordinance is make that also determined by the pension board as well, being that they're going to be the subject matter experts when it's coming into when we're allowing that move, meaning that the pension board would also have to agree to it.
I'm okay with that. I don't know how everyone else is, but I'm fine with that.
Okay. All right. Does anyone have any? Oh, you know what? Stand by. Andrew, the director over procurement, he needs to add one item. Andrew, you got the floor.
Yep, we're just gonna add the Southeast First Street project. It's funded through an FDOT grant. We gotta put it on there so that we can get that 1.5 million. We're really looking forward to kicking that project off.
Is Southeast First? Is that the road I mentioned earlier?
I don't think that's Southeast First. I want to say that maybe Southeast
Southeast
Fourth.
First Street or Avenue?
This is street.
Southeast First Street, yeah.
That might be. Can you guys just send me that?
Yeah,
Email
sure.
me
That street is the street that runs along City Hall, where the like to the rear of City Hall, where Fire Station 1 is, and
Oh, so so it runs north and south street.
correct. Yes, it runs north and
How
south.
far south is that project going? All the way to Woolbright?
That street goes all the way from Boynton Beach Boulevard to Woolbright, so I'm not sure what the extent of it. Andrew, do you have an idea?
That was the road I was talking about earlier.
It goes from Second to Woolbright.
Okay, great, perfect. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving.
Yes, happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Congratulations again, Amy.
Yep, congrats.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Told you.
Thank you.
Won $1,000 on that bet.
Right.
Nice.
Have a good night, everyone.